Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Concursion. This is a new game from Puuba, out on Steam today, and it's available for Windows and Mac. I'm not sure about the price, but I will have a link in the description to the Steam store page, so you can go and follow that. Alright, so I'm just going to click continue, and we will go back and play some of the first world levels. I haven't played past the first world, but playing the first world kind of gives you a good idea of what's going on here. I'm skipping the opening story cutscene because the story is not great in this game, and it's kind of one of my gripes. Is this kind of just becomes, at times it becomes kind of just a platformer. You know, the story is nothing of note, really. It's kind of your typical princess was captured kind of story. Alright. So, what you saw me grab there a minute ago was a checkpoint. Alright. We've got these shards that we can collect. I'm not sure that they do anything. I think they might just be a collectible for you to collect, which is fine. If I'm wrong about that, sorry, but from what I can tell right now, they don't really seem to do anything, so I'm just not really concerning myself with them too much unless they're pretty easy, like these ones were. And while we don't have like anything too interesting gameplay-wise this level, we start to see some things that are kind of hints at what is to come. Alright, so, yep, this is basically our story again. Here's where things get interesting. The gameplay is what's interesting here. Basically what we've got is we've got kind of 5 styles of gameplay that we'll go throughout the game. And even throughout each level, like, we may experience multiple styles of gameplay. As you saw here, we were just in kind of a normal sort of platformer, and now we are in kind of a side-scrolling shooter, which is pretty cool. I'm going to turn the volume down real quick, sorry about that. And you know, I think, like, overall the game is pretty good. I can say that pretty confidently. That is, like, I think you need to know kind of what you're getting into. You know, it's a really cool idea to have, like, multiple kind of genres like this, but I feel like, at the core, some of them are definitely stronger than others. So sometimes I feel like I'm really enjoying the gameplay because it's a really strong section. For the most part, like the spaceship, this part is pretty good. There's a ninja part that we'll see that's also pretty good. And Pac-Man, there's like a Pac-Man clone, which is also pretty good. The platforming part that we just did, I feel is pretty weak. And has like some weird hitbox issues sometimes, at least in my experience. And then I feel there's a rocket part that we'll see, like a jetpack kind of thing, that we'll see as well, that I also feel is kind of on the weaker side. But, you know, I think what you have to realize is, like, this is not necessarily about having the greatest gameplay in these genres. It's about the fact that we're kind of making clever sort of level design here to utilize all of these various genres. And, you know, for now it's seeming like, oh, you know, this is whatever, it's just like one level of space shooter. That'll change quickly here. We'll see some levels that will jump around. Yeah, some of them, like every, you know, maybe 10 or 15 seconds will be like a different genre, sometimes even more frequently than that. And that's where things get really interesting, I think. You know, that being said, I guess like my one biggest complaint, so like I said, this part's pretty good. Sometimes hitboxes are a little weird here too, but you have enough life as the ninja that it's not normally an issue. Also, I mean, the game, at least on normal mode, it is pretty lenient. So like, death just takes you back to the last checkpoint, so I never really feel like I'm losing like too much progress, even if I'm dying a lot. And what I do really like is that each section, like each kind of genre character has their own sort of abilities. So like the ninja can double jump and wall jump. Oops, I just went right back into that level, didn't mean to do that. So maybe I will Oh, perfect. This will definitely give us the rocket. Yeah. So you can see here, here's the rocket kind of jetpack gameplay, which I think is okay. What I find interesting is that in each of these various kind of gameplay styles, we have different life bars and like different amounts of health. So in this one I can only take 3 hits. As a ninja I can take like 8 hits. But I feel like I'm really strong as the ninja to begin with. And I feel like I'm not very strong as the rocket person, because like the rocket person can't even attack. So it feels like some of it is like a little unbalanced, and I don't really want to like say that the game is unbalanced, but sometimes it feels that way just because of the way that that kind of works out. Alright. Same thing with the spaceship. Like, the spaceship has a ton of health, which is fine. I'm certainly not complaining about having a lot of health. But... Sorry, that was my bad. I'm just kind of rushing through this. But, you know, I think that maybe, like, if each character had an equal amount of health, I would feel, like, better, I guess, about playing each character. Because as it stands... for the most part, like, the characters I don't like playing as have very little health, which of course makes it harder, and I don't mind hard, but I don't know, I think I would just prefer that all the characters have equal health, if you ask me, especially because, like, some of these characters, like, this character can only jump on people. That's my only attack is this character, which is not the greatest, especially when the ninja's, like, got a sword, things like that. So, you know, I guess, like, my overall opinion about the gameplay, again, I kind of just clicked into a level on accident again. My overall opinion about the gameplay is that it's okay. It's not... Oh, actually, I don't want to show off this level. That level is another that's mostly spaceship. Yeah, I mean, that's my thing, like, the gameplay is okay. Alright, so here's a Pac-Man section. So, it doesn't necessarily work totally like normal Pac-Man. I mean, from a gameplay standpoint, it certainly does. But what we're doing here is we have to collect the dots, because collecting all the dots of a certain color will open the doors of that color. So you can see that there's a red door at the bottom there that we need to get through. So that's kind of the reason that we're doing the whole Pac-Man thing. I guess, like, so I mean, I said that the Pac-Man part plays okay, and plays, well, I guess, I said it plays pretty well, and I stand by that. It's pretty good. That being said, I feel like the Pac-Man part is maybe, like, the least inspired of everything. Everything else has kind of, like, a pretty unique and cool kind of look to it. Yeah, so this character has 2 hits before you're just dead, which feels kind of odd. Yeah, you know, and, like, I don't know, I feel like just, like, most of the other sections have a lot more character to them. The Pac-Man feels just kind of like, you know, they had like 4 cool genres and couldn't come up with a 5th, so they said, let's just do Pac-Man. And I hope that's not, like, offensive or actually what happened, but that's, I guess, kind of the way the Pac-Man part comes off sometimes. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers my thoughts on the gameplay. But I think where, you know, another thing that's really interesting about this is the kind of the graphical style of the game, and that's because we go through kind of 5 different art styles. I think what I would have liked to see, and it does look pretty good for the most part, but I think what I would have enjoyed to see is like each section be like a different art style. So like the Pac-Man part could be all the same characters and monsters or whatever, but in like 8 bits or whatever, you know. And then have a section that's like 16-bit, have a section that looks like this, which is kind of like a cartoony look. I don't really know what you would describe this as. See, the interesting one about this level is that you're going to kind of try things a lot to get the crystals. But like I said before, I don't see that there's a whole lot of point to the crystals. So, I don't know. Maybe there is later, but at least by the end of the first world, I haven't noticed any real like practical use other than they're kind of a challenge collectible. So if that's your thing, then those are definitely there for you. Alright, you know what I can say, and I don't want this to sound like totally negative, what I can say is that every section plays well. Like, it controls super well. So if if you're looking at this and you're hearing my complaints and you're going, yeah, that doesn't sound like something that I'd be bothered by, then go for it. Like, it plays really, really well. The controls are tight, it feels good. I'm just not like super like into all of the different sections, I guess. And typically the sections I'm not into are kind of like the kind of games I wouldn't normally be into anyways. So that could be all that is. And in fact, I would say there's a pretty decent chance that that's all that is that I'm not into, like I'm not super into Pac-Man, I'm not super into like really simple platformers. I kind of prefer a little bit more complexity in my platforming, which is probably why I like the ninja section a lot, but I'm not a huge fan of the section where you play the Red Knight. So I think that kind of accounts for that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely if this looks like something you're interested in, don't let my kind of criticisms of that stuff stop you. Like, I would definitely say go check it out. And as always, I always say, like, check out other reviewers as well. Don't just take my word for any of this. Find out what other people think about it, because I may be in the minority here. Alright. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say about the gameplay stuff. On, other aspects of this, I mentioned the art style and how it feels sometimes kind of maybe not different enough, and I think that's kind of a big missed opportunity, if you ask me. But overall, I think it looks really nice. It's got a nice kind of cartoony style to it that I think is, pretty neutral. And by that I mean that, like, pretty much everyone can get behind this, I would think, and kind of enjoy this sort of art style. From a music perspective, I haven't heard anything that's like too like stand out. Like nothing that I would be like, oh, I gotta buy the soundtrack. But what I have heard is it's all pretty good so far. Like, it's all fairly enjoyable, and I kind of like it all. So I guess that's like where I stand on the music. Alright, so now we're in the space shooter again, which is nice. I like these parts. But yeah, I think my overall impression is that it's a pretty good game, and I guess like my real impression is that it's a really cool idea. Maybe just not executed perfectly, if that makes sense. But I think, one of the big selling points of this, obviously, is just kind of this, like, novel idea of you're going to play, like, kind of 5 different genres, 5 different characters to get this done. And that's a cool idea. I like that. So, I think if you can get behind the idea, if that sounds pretty exciting to you, and I guess we do have, like, a little bit of sort of kind of a difference here in art style when we go into here. A little bit more than the other ones, at least. But yeah, I think if you can get behind the idea, if if you're looking at this and you're saying like it looks super cool, it looks like something I'd be into, then I'd say go for it. It's certainly not bad by any means. It's just maybe not the best at representing each of the genres, which is, you couldn't really expect it to represent each of the genres well, because it's 5 genres in one game. So, you kind of have to expect that they're just going to be okay, if that makes sense. And again, not to like criticize. I don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings or anything, but yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. It's like overall, my opinions on the game are that it's okay. I did want to show off this boss fight real quick. I'm not going to finish it. because this boss fight took me quite a while earlier. It's kind of a pain. It's, I think, not great. I think I would have rather played the ninja, maybe, for this. And I'm assuming at the end of each world you probably play each boss as a different character, which is cool. But you only have 2 hits as this guy, and it's not like a Nintendo boss where it's like 3 hits and you're done. I believe it took 5 hits, and you have to go through all of this bomb dodging, and the bomb dodging gets harder every time. And if you run into him or run into a bomb, that's a hit. And then you have to do this weird thing where you wait for him, and then he'll kind of drop. Then you jump. That'll go off, and then we get a hit. And then you do that whole thing 5 times. So the boss took me quite a while. I guess like the other question that is often asked is like, will I finish this? Chances are no. I don't see myself like sitting through the rest of the game. And I mean there are quite a few levels. Like I think when I looked at the map there was something like yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 worlds, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of levels there to explore. But, you know, I didn't see anything that made me, like, really excited to go check out more levels after I was done. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I probably won't finish. But, you know, those are just my opinions. Like I said, definitely check out other reviewers, check out other written reviews, things like that. Check out the community hub, make sure, you know, see where other people fall on this one. But, yeah, I'd say it's okay. If you think the idea is cool, definitely give it a go. So, that's where we're going to wrap up for today. But, as always, feel free to leave comments. If there's anything that you would like to comment on, subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day. And if you liked my video on Concursion, then please do consider clicking the like button. But with that, I will thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.